What should the suit be like?
Two honors.
Most the honors.
Well, you need some stuff at the top, don't you? Partner will not be happy if you have 6 to the 9, will he? Or even 6 to the jack, although a lot of people do that. If you are not going to play disciplined weak 2s, and by that, if you're vulnerable, have 2 of the top 3 honors. If you're not vulnerable, have 2 or 3 of the top 5. Then partner will never know what you have, and you will need a tool for asking before you go off to the races. That tool exists, but it's hard. A lot of people hate it because they think it's complicated. It's not, but next year I'll teach it to you. How about that? So for now, be disciplined in your week 2s. I've got one partner that's very disciplined and one who's not disciplined at all. So if you don't have that tool, you're just guessing. That's all there is to it.
How many honors?
2 of the top 3 if you're vulnerable, and say 3 of the top 5. If depending on which seat you're in, it might be King 10, not vulnerable. I've been known to do it if the opponents are vulnerable and I'm not, and my suit King 10. I've been known to do that. A lot depends on vulnerability and which seat you're in, right? So it's a strongish 6-card suit. On average, you'll have 7 to 9 points. You can open with 5 or 6 points, but it should all be in your suit. And it'll be rare to open a week 2 with 10 points, because once you add a point for the 5th card and a point for the 6th card, guess what? You have a 12-point hand, don't you? And you have a rebid. So especially if you're not vulnerable, that's a really good idea. It's a built-in rebid and it's a decent suit. So if I have 10 points and a 6-card suit, I'm generally going to open 1. So most of the time you'll have 7 to 9 points. All right, in first seat, what should be your guidelines in first seat?
Is this for a week 2?
Yes, for a week 2.
Okay, that's what we're talking about, is week 2.
Yes. What do you think? How frisky should you be? Yeah, you can be a little frisky in first seat, because here are 2 opponents, 1 partner. So odds are you have twice as much chance of annoying the opponents as you do your partner, right? And it always, when I have a really nice hand, my partner, week 2. but you know,
With a 6-card suit,
6-card suit, fewer than 10 points.
fewer than 10 points.
And on average, 7 to 9 points in first seat. You can be a little bit frisky. Maybe you've got King Jack instead of King Queen or Ace Queen or something like that. In first seat, you know, this game isn't perfect. No bidding system is perfect, and will cover every situation. What happens is you learn to use your judgment based on your experience. Once you get burned a couple of times, you learn, just like somebody touching something hot. You learn in a hurry, don't you? Yeah, I do anyway. How about a second seat?
Can I,
Sure.
does it matter whether it's a minor or a major?
Well, it's not going to be 2 clubs. But no, it doesn't particularly make any difference at all. Obviously, you don't get as much preemptive value from 2 diamonds as you do from, say, 2 spades. I love it when I have the spades.
So what if your suit is closed?
Can't open.
Well, you're not going to open 2 clubs, I hope.
No.
Okay, here's what most people do. They have an understanding with their partners that, hey, if I open 3 clubs, I may only have 6. But if you only have 6, have a good suit. You can still preempt with clubs, you just have to do it at the 3. Okay? Now then, how about third seat?
What did you say? Second seat?
Oh, second seat, I'm sorry. Did I just skip right over that? Second seat, what do you think? Need to be a little more disciplined in second seat than you are in first seat. Make sure your suit's a little better, especially if it's unfavorable vulnerability, then be very disciplined in second seat. How about third seat? Frisky, 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 anything goes, especially if you're not vulnerable and the opponents are, right? Yeah. For instance, let's have a look here. king eight, jack 7-6, 7-6-5 of clubs.
One spade,
I'd say spades, yeah.
one spade.
Two spades.
What seat are you in, third seat?
Who said two spades? You get a cookie, an extra cookie.
Well, it's a week too, isn't it?
Yes, but there are only 5 of them. There are not 6.
King, queen, jacks.
But you're in third seat, remember? Anything goes. This is a good suit.
When you open.
Maximum preemptive value, you have 6, 9, 10 points and a 5-card suit. If you open at 1, your partner's got to be tolerant of light openings in the third seat. But the advantage of opening 2 spades is partner knows what to lead. You have limited your hand right then with that bid, and you have just preempted the dickens out of the person in 4th seat. I mean, after all, who has the points at the table? 4th seat does. Now he gets to start looking for a fit with his partner at the 3 level. Do you think he's going to like that? Not in the least. Not in the least. Might you go off? Partner might not have any. You know, things happen. And what should you do if that happens? Play the next hand. Don't worry about it. Didn't work that time, so we'll just go on to the next hand. All right. Now we're going to get into responding to week 2 bids. Your response depends on the degree of fit you have with your partner, or whether you have an independent suit or a self-sufficient suit. What do you think constitutes a self-sufficient suit?
5 of a major.
No, 5 of a major is not self-sufficient.
14, 12, 14, 15 points.
No, I said self-sufficient suit.
Two.
You're not going to have 14 points in the suit.
Define sufficient.
That's what I'm
That's
asking
what
you to
you
do.
said.
What do you think self-sufficient suit means?
Seven honors, you've got support in
You
each
have
suit.
honors and it can play opposite a singleton.
Right.
That's the definition of a self-sufficient suit. It can play opposite a singleton.
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
So if your partner just has one of that suit in his hand, then you can play successfully. You know, you picked up hands that have great long suits before,
They're gonna trump.
and you don't care whether your partner has any of them or not, really, because you've got 6 or 7 or 8 of them. That's a self-sufficient suit. At least 6 cards. A lot of times 7. Yes.
And from what I've seen so far, like especially as week 3 bids, is there seems to be a tendency to have a weird distribution where all of...
I'm not talking about a week 3 bid here.
No, but I'm talking about that the other person would have a good, like 7-card suit that is strong as opposed to...
Yes, it would not be something that you would open with a 3-level preempt with at all. It would be a self-sufficient suit that would have lots of stuff at the top. All right, now then, here we have our options. If you have a singleton or a void in your partner's suit and no suit of your own, just pass. Just say, can't help you, partner, sorry. You're on your own. If you have a small doubleton, and by small doubleton I mean 9 or lower. If you have 15 high card points, you can bid. But if you want to raise to the 3 level in partner suit, you really need a 3rd trump. If you have 15 high card points and a good suit of your own, you can think about bidding here with a small doubleton in your partner suit. If he denies support in your own suit, you know you have an 8-card fit, don't you? Because you have a doubleton. Now, with an honor doubleton, it changes a little bit. If you have an interesting hand, what do you think an interesting hand might be?
Maybe a void.
One with a lot of shade, right? A hand with a lot of shade, an honor doubleton in partner suit, and no wasted queens and jacks. Then you can bid with 14 points. But that's going to be unusual. That's a very specific hand. So that's what you do if you have 0 or 1 cards in the suit. And here if you have double. You can bid a little more freely if you have an honor doubleton. After all, partners should have some honors at the top of his suit, right? Right, okay. Now with 3 or 4 card support, do something. Don't sit there like a bump on a pickle. After all, if you have 6 cards in your partner's hand and 3 in yours, how many do you have together? 9. Why don't we bid to the 9 trick level then? So if you have 3 cards in partner suit, I don't care if you have much in the way of points at all, raised to 3. That's called extending the preempt or furthering the preempt, and it can be very effective.
And how many points did you say you
Doesn't
None.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Seriously, my partner opened 1 heart yesterday. I was sitting with a hand that had 6 hearts with a Queen Jack 10 in it, and very little else. I had about 6 total points. My right-hand opponent bid 2 diamonds. Guess what I bid? 4 hearts. You bet I did. Did we make it? No. We only went off 1. We went down 1. We had 11 trump between us, but I wasn't going to bid 5. There's no advantage to bidding 5. I just slapped down 4 hearts. And I didn't have a singleton. Usually when you bid 4, you want to have a singleton. But I thought the 6th trump would make up for that. At least that's what I told myself when I did that. So, good excuse, right? So, when you're doing that, you should have some shape. Because if you're vulnerable and the opponents are not, this is called a weak freak. When you jump, your partner bids 1 of a major, or I've never seen 1 diamond, 5 diamonds. I mean, that just doesn't happen. But 1 heart, 4 hearts, 1 heart, 1 spade, 4 spades. You need, especially if you are vulnerable and the opponents are not, they're going to double you. They know what they're doing, and they know what you're up to. They know you don't have the bid, and they're going to double you for as many points as they can possibly wring out of it. And if you're not careful, you'll end up giving them more points than they could have made by bidding their own game. So make sure you have some shape when you do that. So if you have 3 card support, raised to the 3 level. If you have 4 card support, just bid game. What does it take? A lot of courage, right? And some shape. You'll be nervous the first several times you do it, but after that you'll get used to going off in those bids and it won't bother you anymore. Because most of the time you'll get a good result. If your partner has fewer than 10 points and you have 7 or 8, who has all the points in that hand? The opponents do. Why don't we make it as difficult as possible for them to find their fit? If you have a 9-card fit in a suit, it's a lead pipe cinch that they have an 8-card fit in another suit. It's an absolute given. So don't let them find it, especially when they have all the points. Okay, examples. North is your partner and he opens 2 hearts, the next fella passes, agreeably enough, and it's up to you. Here's hand number 1. Can everybody see it? We've got ace, jack, little, and spades, the 2 of hearts, king, jack, 5, 4 of diamonds, and king, 9, 4, 3 of clubs. What do you think you should do? Pass. Absolutely. Second one, spades, ace, king, jack, 9, 4, 3, 2 of hearts again, ace, queen, 10 of diamonds, and 10, 9 small in clubs. What should you do? 2 spades. Asking partner for support. Now, it's up to you and your partner whether or not the bid of a new suit over a week 2 is forcing. Many people play that it is forcing 1 round, which means that your partner's going to have to bid again with his less than wonderful hand that he has. So you need to be sure that you have stuff in your suit. If he denies support, he's going to rebid his suit. Other people say, no, it's not forcing, and he can pass. You may not have any in your suit. So when that happens, you're kind of, so you're taking a bit of a chance when you bid a new suit because you know where a partner lives. The thing about preempting is you're announcing to your partner that if we play this hand, this is where we need to play. I have no other options in my hand. options in my hand for a trump suit. That's why we don't preempt with an outside 4-card major. Because if partner had 4 cards in that major and you do, you have another place where you can play, don't you? So don't have an outside 4-card major when you preempt. And don't have a void. Remember that? Don't have a void. Okay, number 3. 8, 7 of spades, king 4, 3 of hearts, ace 9, 4, 3, 2 of diamonds, and 9, 7, 6 of clubs. What should you do?
3 hearts.
3 hearts, yes. That doesn't look like much, does it? 7 points, your partner's got fewer than 10, but you have 9 trump. And you've got a fitting honor here with what your partner will have. That king of hearts is a great card. Much better than having the king over here in the club suit. Much better. But even without the king of hearts, I would raise, because you've still got 9 trump. Okay, 4th one. Ace, king, jack, 3 here of spades, queen 5 of hearts, 4 of diamonds, ace, and 5 little clubs. What do you think you should bid?
Still hearts.
Yeah, we're still in 2 hearts past. What do you think?
4 hearts.
Who said 4 hearts? I like your style. Yeah, exactly. 4 hearts. 4 hearts all day long. 4 hearts all day long. Yeah, it takes a little nerve, doesn't it? Look at this. Partner has 6 hearts, you've got the queen. You have, this right here is a huge thing. Singleton diamond, ace of clubs. Can your partner have very many clubs? Probably not. And you've got a really nice spade suit. You bid 4 hearts there expecting to make it, don't you? Or having a good shot at it. Okay, how about this next one? 4 of spades, king, jack, 4, 3 of hearts, king, jack, 7, 4, 3 of diamonds, and 3 little clubs. What should you do there? 4 hearts again. 4 hearts again. Just
Well,
do
you got-
it.
That gives you 10 hearts.
Just do it. Here, this one
Yeah.
is known as an advanced sacrifice. Because you're expecting that the opponents have a fit in spades, aren't you? This fella didn't bid. That means West has a big bid. They have spades, don't they? They have spades. You've got a singleton. You know your partner doesn't have as many as 4. So they've got 9 spades between them. So just jump in there and bid 4 hearts. Maybe they'll find 4 spades, maybe they won't. If they don't, you might go down a trick or 2. But if they're vulnerable, they've missed a vulnerable game. And that's what you want to do, make life difficult. All right, that's responding with some cards in partner suit. There will be other times when you don't have much at all in the way of partner suit, but you have some points, and maybe you're interested in playing 3 no trump. And you'd like to know if partner has an honor outside that suit that he bid. What you can do is bid 2 no trump. Say, partner, tell me a little more about your hand. Show me a feature. You need to have the intermediate opening hand. A good 16, 17, or 18 points to do that. Because you're going to the 3 level and you're looking for 3 no trump. If you're going to have any kind of success in 3 no trump, you have to have this many points.
And you're just counting high card points?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In no trump, we count only high card points. Now, what does the opener do after you've done that? If he has 5, 6, or 7 points, he just rebids his suit. If he has more points than that, say he has 8 points, he has the ace, king, jack in his suit, and 3 little ones, and no outside feature, he rebids his suit then too. That's the weakest thing he can do. The weakest thing in all of standard American bidding that you can do is rebid your suit. That's the weakest thing you can do, and that's what opener can do here. Now, if he has at least 8 to 10 points and an outside feature, and by an outside feature we mean an ace or a king in another suit, then you'll bid that suit at the 3 level, saying, hey, I have an ace or the king in this suit. Does that help? Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't.
And it can even be a minor suit.
Sure.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a major at all.
Okay.
If you have a really, really nice suit with no outside feature, ace, king, queen, 3 little. That's the top limit for a week 2 bid, isn't it? One more point somewhere, and you might have opened that 1 instead. Some people will do it with ace, king, jack, or ace, queen, jack. I prefer for it to be a solid suit. Myself, when I do this, because my partner is most likely only going to have 2 cards in my suit if he's interested in no trump. That's all. Pardon me, that's all he has to have. If he had 3 cards, he would have probably bid 4 hearts or whatever that was. He'd have bid 4 of my suit. So he's interested in no trump when he does this. So I like to have ace, king, queen, little, little, little. It's happened to me twice in 6 years. When you have this hand, you just bid 3 no trump. Just bid 3 no trump, and that ends the bidding.
And that's in the suit you did.
And that's when the suit that you open with a week 2 looks like that. Now then, if your partner bids 3 no trump, fold them up. You're going to play it there. He says, I can see 9 tricks. Or I can see 7 or 8, and I bet you've got at least a couple over there. So fold them up. Don't even think about bidding on. And if he bids 4 no trump, that's ace asking. You laugh. Guess what I did last Friday for my partner's opening 2 spade bid? First thing I did was bid 2 no trump. I had 19 high card points in my hand, and a singleton. And I had the ace king doubleton of her suit. And I had 19 points in my hand, including, and I had a singleton. And I thought, oh, I smell a slam. I smell a slam. Oh, boy, boy, boy. Well, she's my partner that is not a disciplined week 2 bidder. So I thought, okay, first order of business, 2 no trump. Well, she gave me the bid that says I have a good hand and a good suit. And I looked at that ace king double and I thought, okay, good suit. Well, okay. But I knew she had 9 or 10 points. And she had 6 spades with at least the queen jack at the top. So I just slapped down 6 spades. Did it make? No. Nope, it wasn't quite. We had one loser in the heart suit, and or she had a loser in another suit, and I had a 5-card heart suit that was ace jack, and she had a singleton. She tried to trump some of mine to set them up to discard this loser that she needed to, but unfortunately, one of the opponents had a singleton heart and trumped that second one when she was trying to get rid of her second heart.
Boo.
It happens.
That's when you
You know,
use this.
that's the first time I've ever had a hand good enough that I thought there was a possibility of a slam over a week 2. But I'd do it again. I'd do it again with that hand. Here's an example of a hand that might just bid 3 no trump over 2 hearts. Look at this. 7 diamonds, solid suit, king of clubs, king of spades. The lead's going to come up to his hand, and you know the opponents are not going to lead hearts. They're just not going to. So he's got 7, 8, because he's got the lead coming up to his hand. He's got a really good shot at getting a trick with either one of these kings. That's 8 tricks. If he can sneak even 1 trick out of your hand, or actually get both of these kings, then 3 no trump makes. Doesn't it? This is one of those things that if you bid it, it'll go off, and if you don't, you'll make it with an over trick. But that's just the law of these things. But this is a really, hand that has a really good shot at making 3 no trump over a week 2 heart. Okay.
Is that 2 no trump bid a standard, so that I can assume any bid after that would be
A feature.
a feature?
If that's what, that is partnership agreement.
Okay.
Using that bid is partnership agreement. The bid I talked about, asking my partner to tell me about her hand, is also initiated with 2 no trump. So there's the feature asking 2 no trump, and then there's the 2 no a trunk called August, and that's what I used. But feature asking is what most people use, and there are a lot of very fine players who have never used anything but feature asking. But if you have a partner that will open a jack-high suit with a weak 2, you about have to use August to keep yourself out of trouble.